Every man deserves to know his T levels. Step into Game Day Men's Health Solid and get tested. It's on us. No guesswork, no waiting, just real answers. Guys, I got a question that I need a real answer to as well.
Before you do that, Ant, I was talking to the guys over at Game Day yesterday.
Oh.
They got their first client directly from us. So shout out to whoever that guy or woman was.
Yeah.
And if you have any questions about your health, T levels, weight loss, any of that, head over to Game Day Men's Health Solid.
Take advantage of this right now. Get in the mix, Game Day Men's Health Solid. Thank you. And good luck to their new customer. We appreciate that.
And the question you had now. Sorry to cut you off, but I had to give Game Day some love.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. I didn't know about that. But I was just going to toss it to Bull about, was this Cavs season successful?
No, it was not successful. No. Now, I guess it depends how you look at it.
It was
You are
successful. You're wrong.
I'm wrong?
Yeah.
No, it's not successful. And by the way, you said that we all said if they made the Eastern Conference Finals a success. I believe I said as long as they didn't get blown out in the Eastern Conference Finals.
We all said yes.
No.
We all said yes.
If they had lost a competitive series with the Knicks, I would have felt I could have lived with this season. But to me, beating a bum Toronto team with injuries and a one-man show in Detroit, that's not a good season. It wasn't a bad season, but and ultimately, I guess you could argue, unless you win a chance. I mean, if I'm a Knicks fan, if they lose in the finals, I'm not going to say it's a bad season. To me, it was a great season. But, the Cavs have had this team together. I know Harden's new. It's been so many years already. Like, the Cavs haven't played a single playoff series in this entire run with Donovan Mitchell where I've been like, damn, that was impressive. What a series victory.
I mean, it was a historic, and obviously Miami sucked last year, but
come on now. Mike,
they set like 7 different records in the series.
Well,
you can't say they didn't do it and then give you proof they did it. You're like, well, no one cares about that.
It was not impressive because the opponent was garbage.
I'm just saying, they set like 7 different offensive records in a 4-game sweep.
It's irrelevant. I said none of the series have been impressive to me. You may be impressed by the stats. Them setting records against one of the worst teams in the history of playoff basketball is not impressive to me. It's my opinion.
Okay,
so you believe whatever you want to believe. The Cavs have never, since LeBron James left, won a playoff series, and I was like, damn, that was impressive. Never.
Since LeBron left,
yeah,
they had not made the Eastern Conference Finals. And they did this year. And we said, and not just that one clip, but this whole season, they have to get past the second round. They have to get past the second round.
Yeah.
They have to get past the second round. We said it 30,000 times.
Yeah.
And it was ugly, but you know what they did? They got past the second round. On Monday, do you guys know the Murph Challenge?
I'm familiar, yeah.
No.
I had a day on Sunday. Let me just tell you, I had a day on Sunday. So shout out to the couple of UCSS fans I ran into. Really nice to meet you. I had a day on Sunday. Woke up, the Murph Challenge, every Memorial Day. You run a mile, 100 pull-ups, 200 push-ups, 300 air squats, and then you go run on a mile. I came in 3rd in the gym last year in terms of time. My goal was to win this year.
And you didn't.
No, I did, and then I puked for like 45 minutes afterwards because I pushed myself way too hard following Sunday's activities.
Jeez.
Did I accomplish my goal? Yes. Did it go how I wanted? No. And was it worth it? Probably not. The Cavs had a successful season by reaching the Eastern Conference Finals, even if the aftermath of it was a disaster.
You just proved that you're wrong.
How?
Because you said the Cavs accomplished their goal. Go ask any player on the Cavs right now if they accomplished their goal. They will all say no. And if any of them say yes, they're a loser.
So that means that any team that's won the finals has a bad season then? No successful season can happen. Because the Knicks.
You said specifically they accomplished their goal, and they did not.
The Knicks' goal is to win a championship. So if they don't, you think the Knicks will also say this was a bad season?
They would, probably. The players would.
Oh, that's fine.
Okay.
I don't disagree with that point.
I think what Mike is saying is the Cavs reached the goal that we set for them as saying they need to make
I didn't reach a goal. I didn't set a goal of just get there and then get embarrassed there.
Well,
but okay.
I think, first of all, we're having this discussion now and 72 hours removed from a complete clinic, right?
Yeah.
Just run off your own court. It's hard to say it's a success. Now, if you go back 3 months, and you said, do they have to win the East for it to be a success? I don't think the answer would have been yes. But here and now, taking the recency out of it, to say they got swept and
it was ugly.
They look miles and miles away. I can't call it a success based on that thought. I can't.
They got destroyed in the Eastern Conference Final. I'm not arguing that. But I do think taking that next step in the progression. I don't know if you saw the stat, Bull. The last 5 teams that lost in the Eastern Conference Finals came back and then won the East the next year, including the Knicks, who lost to the Pacers in the Eastern Conference Finals, then just destroyed the Cavs. There are natural progressions in the elevation of a team throughout the playoffs. You always talk about the bumps and bruises. You saw Wemby in Game 5 not speak to the media afterwards, and the whole kind of national narrative around this was, this is the first time he's faced adversity. You have to go through these fights, these trials and tribulations to learn how to overcome that next level. The Cavs are too veteran of a team and have too much playoff experience, and they're too expensive of a roster, too talented of a roster, to come back and say, yeah, we're satisfied with how we went out. But we all sat here 3 months ago and said they have to make the Eastern Conference Finals. Anything less is not a success. And now to say, well, you reached the Eastern Conference Finals, but really that wasn't good enough, I think it's hypocritical on all of our ends.
Well, but aren't they also too talented and too expensive of a roster to look and say, okay, they're miles and miles and miles away from winning a championship, and we're okay with that? Because they are. They're miles and miles away.
But I think the entire East was. I don't think there's any team in the East that now New York's playing in a way that 2 weeks ago I would have said they have no chance against the West, and now I think they do have a chance against whoever comes out of the West. But I thought nobody in the East was competing with OKC or San Antonio this
But
year.
Mike, if they had gone to the finals, even if they had gotten smoked in the finals, I would have said it was a good season. But what did you accomplish?
Good season.
You beat a fraud Pistons team.
Good season. And the Pistons were the 1 seed and won 60-plus games this year.
So were the Cavs the year before. They were a fraud.
You just can't say they're beating nobody. Like, fine, your opinion.
I said they were fraudulent.
Well, I think the Pistons had a successful season to an extent.
Yes.
I think the Celtics had a successful season to an extent.
And those teams didn't make it as far as Cleveland did.
Right, but I still don't think you can call the Cavs season a success. They went backwards in regular season wins, and they crashed. They confirmed our prior thought that this group was not good enough.
Incremental progress on a team with all these vets. It's not like you think about that with teams like the Celtics, which took them a while. They had all young players. The Cavs have, besides Mobley, they're old.
I just don't get how
incremental process
3 months
is
ago
nonsense.
we sat here and said they had to make the Eastern Conference Finals, and now they made the Eastern Conference Finals.
Of where I didn't use the caveat. And I probably said Boston because I probably thought it was going to be Boston.
We all said Boston.
But I'm sure I said as long as they don't get embarrassed in the Eastern Conference Finals. And they got embarrassed. If they had lost a 7-game war to the Knicks and got eliminated at the Garden in Game 7, I'd feel differently right now. I would. But I can't. There's no way that you could say it's like they didn't pull a massive upset in the playoffs. I mean, come on. And they just.
I mean, I'm not saying like we should throw a parade for. I'm just saying we set the bar of success was making the Eastern Conference Finals.
Accept that.
And they've made the Eastern Conference Finals. Now, it was a horrific collapse in the Eastern Conference Finals against the Knicks.
It was one of the worst losses in the history of the sport.
But we can't set the bar at, hey, accomplish this and we'll feel good about it. And then they do, and now we're saying
the bar changes.
Does
the bar not change sometimes?
Not in the overall big picture of things.
Yes.
No, not in the 3 months ago. The outlook of this team is do something.
Again,
you get to do
I want
something.
proof that I said Eastern Conference Finals was a successful season without.
Zach wasn't on the show that day, so Zach. Yeah. But it was.
I think the bar has changed.
Yes,
I think the bar has changed. I don't. Think
did the bar change with the James Harden trade, or did the bar change with the fact that they finally made the Eastern Conference
Finals? I think
Finals?
the bar. To me, what I'm saying is the bar changed because they're so far below where they want to be.
And wait,
like they did not. They lost in such a fashion, and they are so far away. That's what I mean by the bar change. Like it wasn't just making the Eastern Conference. You guys are kind of talking black and white there. Like make it or not make it.
Right.
I'm saying coming out of it, I can't say
that's
success.
That's fair. In the first hour, we talked about the fact that this team is currently constructed, can't win a championship.
Yeah.
They have to. I'm now fully on team trade Mobley for Giannis. Like I'm fully on that bandwagon. I want to bring
knowing that it's probably not going to work, but at least there's a chance.
And we're in agreement on that end of it.
Yeah.
I'm just looking at the end of the season, the disappointment of it all. And granted, I cannot emphasize this enough. They got smoked in the Eastern Conference Finals. It was uncompetitive past Game 1, and that was a disgrace to the entire organization, to the fan base. To watch that for 4 games was a joke. However, I can't go back on what we said 3 months ago and now just be like, it didn't matter if they made the Eastern Conference Finals because it's something they haven't done in 34 years without LeBron James.
That's meaningless.
And it was something that we had established as a group, not just us, I think as a city, as a city and a
Then
fan base.
Well, then we change our mind and we were wrong. Looking back 5 years from now, is anybody going to look at this as a good season? No. Nobody will look at this as a good season.
If they reach the finals next year and continue this trend of the last 5 teams who lost in the Eastern Conference Finals making the finals next year, we could say, oh, that was round 1 to round 2 to round 3 to round 4.
Still wouldn't look at it as a successful season. You look at next year as a successful season.
No, duh, if they make the finals, yeah. But if they get something in the finals, you're going to come back into the same thing?
The Cavs, first of all, you're allowed to change your mind, right? When circumstances do. And even if I said Eastern Conference Final getting there was a success, it's clear that it's not, because you can't get embarrassed in that series. And especially because I'm factoring in the fact that they, in the first 2 rounds, they didn't play that well.
Right. You can't view this as they just had one bad series.
Right.
No, they did not sparkle.
3 lackluster, but they did go on the road and beat Detroit in Game 7.
That was impressive.
There were accomplishments in this season.
Yes, there were accomplishments. Were they?
Should we change the question then to, or not change the question, but is it an accomplishment to make the Eastern Conference Finals as opposed to calling it a success?
That's undoubtedly yes, but to call it a success.
Yeah.
Okay,
Right, yes. It is an accomplishment, and I would say that this postseason team, even though I don't think they were that impressive, was more impressive than any of the other postseason teams they've had.
I'm going to give you credit, Mike.
Yeah.
When you're losing the argument, change the argument.
That's right.
It's a pro move.
That is a pro move.
I was winning it, but I think because in a way, like I do agree with you. It's hard to feel good about what happened when you see the end. So maybe success versus accomplishment should have been the right word, because I do think it's an accomplishment to get to the place that we said they had to get to. Now, I was looking at this accomplishment in line with success. No, you don't feel good about how they lost. Obviously, disaster.
Let me give you an example. I don't know, maybe this is a good one, maybe it's not, because I was thinking about this in my own life, right? When Dustin and I hosted the show on The Fan, when the station started, the show started, we just came out of nowhere, right? There was no sports station. It was a music station. All of a sudden, one day, it's a sports station.
It was music before sports.
Yes, it was.
I know that.
And the first couple of days, there were people calling not to talk sports, just to say, what the hell happened to our music station, right? It took us, 6 months, 9 months till we made a dent in the ratings. And in that first year, my goal was get us in the top 5, like top 5 in the ratings. We did that by the 3rd ratings book. After that, my goal went higher, and it was like by the 2nd year was just be top 3, just be top 3. By year 3, anything but 1 was a failure. In the fall, we'd finish 1st. We'd dominate. In the winter, we'd finish 1st. The spring and summer were more of a challenge. We'd go anywhere from 1 to 3 those years in the ratings.
Just based off the seasons and the sports going on?
That was the main part of it, yes. But, we had to do what we had to do to keep people with us, even in non-football season. And anytime we didn't finish 1st, once we had gotten there, now they haven't, but once we got to 1st place, now it was much easier for us to get to 1st place than for the Cavs to win a championship. I will grant you that. But the expectations changed, and as the expectations go up, and it was the same thing. If we would have finished 2nd in year 1, I would have been thrilled. By year 3, 2nd was a loss. It was a failure. That's how I felt. We didn't get the job done.
So you said you had to get to 2 though before you changed your expectations, right? This is the Cavs'
Every
first
year,
time.
my expectations.
This is the first time the Cavs had reached the Eastern Conference Finals, though.
Right.
In this trajectory. So based off your example
it's
there.
Improvement.
So now,
it's improvement, but it's not an accomplishment.
No, it is an accomplishment. It's not a success. Who's on first?
All right, I'll give you that.
When I was a kid, it was called Jammin' 92.
Jammin' 92,
and it played the hits.
Yeah.
And the Cavs had a lot of good seasons and a lot of good players, and Michael Jordan kept putting them down, and they just couldn't get over that hump.
Yeah.
So now this Cavs team has gotten near it and can't get over that hump, and I can't, to the point, I'm going to side with Bull here, that I can't call it a success.
And it's 2-1. What do you feel?
He's with you. That's why you asked him.
I think this is a successful season. I think I can look at it, if we make the right adjustments for next year, as a successful season, because we made it to the Eastern Conference Finals where we wanted to be, and then we had to learn what needed to change to take that next step. And that might be trading Mobley. That might be rebuilding some things. I don't like the fact that they're keeping Kenny, but that's my own opinion. So, I don't know. If they come back, run it back next year with everybody, and they get bounced in the second round or bounced in the conference finals again and swept, it's failure from top to bottom.
By the way, I don't even know if this has ever been put out publicly, but speaking of 92.3 The Fan, when I was working there, before the Fan got the Browns in this ridiculous deal where it's also on KNR,
they're both radio partners?
Yeah. We were this close, I think. I know on our side we thought we were. I don't know if that was actually the case. Before the Fan got the Browns of stealing the Guardians. Which, as popular as the Browns are, baseball's really better for radio because it's more. What's that?
And there's more games.
Yeah.
And Tom Hamilton.
Well,
Jimmy Donovan.
Yes, Tom Hamilton. And not because Tom Hamilton, obviously he didn't hurt, but it's because there's so much inventory and so many places to put commercials. Would have been good for me because I was part of the deal was I was going to do some pre and post game whatever. But anyway, the reason I bring it up is because we're about to talk about the Guardians. I don't know why else I brought it up. We were talking about the Fan, but who knows what would have happened. I wish that would have happened. But